56 News, first at 10.
Up first for you tonight at 10 o'clock, police are investigating after an 18-year-old Bucks County teenager died in Lake Henry early this morning. We're told he was in a boat with two other men when they all fell into the water around 1 a.m. Fox 56's Alicia Hercules was there and has more on this story for us tonight from Wayne County.
Police are currently investigating an incident that took place on Lake Henry early Saturday morning. Several hours after the initial 911 call, a body washed up on shore around 9 a.m. This body was later identified as 18-year-old Dominic Testani. According to the Wayne County Coroner's Office, 3 young men entered a boat from a home located near the intersection of Silkman's Road and East Island Lane. While in the lake, the boat capsized, resulting in the 3 men falling into the water. Once rescue crews arrived at the scene, only 2 of the 3 boat passengers were located. Maplewood Fire Chief Nick Carazzi tells us he's thankful to have been able to save 2 of the 3 men, but the loss of Testani is still a tragic loss.
I'd just like to thank the dive teams for their excellent work and dedication for it. If it wasn't for them, we probably would have had a worse outcome.
Carazzi says drones and local area dive teams were also used to search the water. A Wayne County resident who asked to remain anonymous tells me that he feels like kids always play around and are often trying to have fun. But unfortunately, in this instance, it led to tragedy. The neighbor also said that as a child, he would have done the exact same thing as the young men and hopes that people don't judge the victims. The names of the 2 surviving victims have not been yet released. Officials say the young men were taken to the hospital and appeared to be physically okay. There's an autopsy scheduled for Dominic Testani on Monday. Reporting from Wayne County, I'm Alicia Hercules with Fox 56 News, first at 10.
All right, Alicia, thanks for that story tonight. Now, we're told Testani is from Doylestown, and of course, this is a developing story. Stay with Fox 56 on air and online for more on this story as more information from police as well as the Wayne County Coroner's Office becomes available. Well, 7 people were forced out of their home on Fairview Drive in Berwick this afternoon. It happened at around 1 o'clock. Officials tell us they arrived and saw that the second floor was fully engulfed in flames. We're told a child was hurt in that fire.
The tenant that lived there had some friends visiting from Florida. A 9-year-old little girl got burnt in her neck and singed hair. And the residents on the 1411 A and B side just experienced some light smoke.
We're told the cause of that fire remains under investigation tonight. Pennsylvania State Police are looking for the person or persons responsible for stealing cash from a safe at a Columbia County business overnight. It happened at the Dollar General on State Route 118 in Sugarloaf Township. Troopers say the unknown suspect or suspects cut the power to the building before prying open the back door. Now, once inside, the suspect pried open a safe containing $1,446 in cash. The suspect or suspects then took off with that money. Anyone with any information on this burglary should contact the Bloomsburg Barracks of the PSP. Well, new at 10 o'clock tonight, there are talks of more layoffs at Penn State as university administrators continue to work on reducing a budget deficit there. But where those possible job cuts may be and in which of those departments are still being reviewed. Gary Sinderson from our sister station in Johnstown has more on this story for us tonight.
Penn State President Neely Bendapudi admits it was an unpleasant surprise to find out after she was named president the sizable deficit, close to $140 million in the university's education and general funds budget. In recent weeks and updates from the president, more mentions of reducing employee numbers and limited layoffs as possibilities for cutting costs. Bendapudi stresses Penn State is not in a financial crisis, but admits in recent years more than $100 million a year in reserve funding was being used to cover expenses. As for layoff numbers among university employees, here's what she told us a few weeks ago.
So in some places, it might be we need to streamline. We don't need 3 people. We need 1. In other places, it might be we actually have too few. We need to invest there. So it's really a difficult question to answer because we are not any one thing.
In an update earlier this week, Bendapudi says, quote, individual units are being asked to thoroughly review their budget and take steps to meet urgent fiscal obligations, unquote. She says some units are facing what's termed historical structural budget deficits that cannot continue. In Center County, Gary Sanders.
All right, Gary, thanks so much. Well, after that toxic train derailment in East Palestine on February 3rd, officials right here in Pennsylvania are preparing for similar scenarios should a train carrying hazardous chemicals derail and leak right here in the Commonwealth. Hundreds of miles of rail across Pennsylvania transports thousands of pounds of hazardous material each day. This bi-monthly training is giving officials the lessons learned from the East Palestine incident.
Just because something doesn't happen very often, or it has the low frequency of happening often, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be prepared for it. We have things in place to be able to respond to something like this if it happened. It's something that we train on.
Now we're told this new training will offer different levels of certification for volunteers to obtain in the hopes of minimizing the effects of future chemical incidents. Well, the Pennsylvania High School Speech League returned to Bloomsburg University for their first in-person state competition in 3 years. Fox 56's Josh O'Coulum attended an awards ceremony today and spoke to some of the participants about how they're feeling being back at the competition after the pandemic. He joins us now live in the News Center. And Josh, what were you able to find out?
John, the two-day speech, debate, and Congress competition gave students across the state a chance to finally meet for the first time.
Yeah, Ainsley, Lily, and I are all seniors, and it's our first in-person state tournament. So
nearly 600 students and almost 200 coaches and judges took over Bloomsburg University Friday and Saturday.
Yes, there's definitely a magic in the air today. People are very excited. You know, their emotions are just all over the place, but they're having a great time.
Some of the students had to make an adjustment from online competitions during the height of the pandemic.
Like what we did last year for online, we had to change how we presented and how we had to keep eye contact with people. And so that shift from online to now has made a major difference.
Once we're in person, it's more like connecting with a whole room of people, and I think it's much more of a stronger, more magical experience.
Outside of the competition, organizers and students were glad to be back.
With the organizers, the team of high school coaches and teachers who run the tournament, they're always like, hey, it's great to see you again. It's very exciting, to be back.
Students were just glad to meet people with similar interests.
We've gotten to all hang out and meet up and stuff, and it's been amazing. Just being able to meet people yesterday and still being able to hang out and get to know each other and keep in contact through the rest of the weekend.
Dr. Shrine did tell me they had some issues finding judges, but the community stepped in to help. Reporting live, I'm Josh O'Coulum, Fox 56 News, 1st to 10.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for that live report tonight. Well, beefing up security when it comes to protecting Europe's energy infrastructure from Russian forces. We'll tell you how they plan to do just that coming up later on after the break. Chris.
Well, we're talking about some cold weather as we head into your Sunday, but hey, we could even see some snow before it warms up in the coming days. I'm going to break it down coming up.
The NASCAR Cup Series hits the high banks of Atlanta.
With John Lasko and your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Ed Russo.
Well, a 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook the coastal areas of southern Ecuador and northern Peru today, leaving at least 12 people dead. The quake could be felt for about 40 miles. Now, a part of a building collapsed onto a car in the street in Cuenca, Ecuador, leaving people trapped inside. There were numerous reports of damages to buildings. Officials say the local airports remained open and operational. Securing energy for Europe remains a top priority as Russia's war in Ukraine continues. Guarded by NATO warships, Fred Plekin flew with NATO's chief as well as the president of the European Commission to inspect a major gas field between Norway and Denmark.
As tensions mount after the collision between a Russian plane and a U.S. drone over the Black Sea, NATO's head tells me the alliance stands firmly behind the U.S.
What we have seen is a reckless and irresponsible behavior by Russia that led to this incident in the Black Sea. The good thing is that the United States behaved utmost professionally.
And security on the seas is a huge issue for NATO. We flew to one of Europe's largest gas fields with the Secretary General and the head of the EU Commission as NATO warships were guarding the rig, watchful for possible acts of sabotage.
The U.S. and its allies understand full well that Russia's war in Ukraine is a threat not just to the skies above the seas and on the seas, but also to critical infrastructure under the sea as well. That's why the NATO alliance is beefing up its efforts to protect this critical infrastructure.
These are the actual wells of the Troll gas field near Norway. Around 10% of the natural gas supplies for America's European allies come from this field alone, after most of them stopped buying gas from Russia. Last year, the Nord Stream pipeline between Germany and Russia was blown up in what the U.S. says was an act of sabotage. While some believe Ukrainians might be behind the explosion, Kyiv denies involvement, and the EU Commission head tells me Europe will continue to support Ukraine.
We know in the European Union that Ukraine is not only fighting for its independence, sovereignty and freedom, but also for the wider values we share, like the respect for the international law.
And the Ukrainians say they will fight on. Kyiv saying the most intense battles are still taking place around Bakhmut, where the Russians claim they're gaining ground. And Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Moscow next week, as the Russians are looking to further deepen ties, and the U.S. believes want Beijing to give them weapons. NATO's leader says security in Europe will only be guaranteed if Putin ends the war against Ukraine.
The best way to reduce the risks of incidents like this is, of course, for President Putin to end the war. Wars are dangerous and they lead to dangerous situations like the incident of the Black Sea.
But as long as the war continues, NATO says its ships will stay on alert, shielding the alliance members' critical infrastructure from possible attacks.
Well, police are prepping for a possible Trump indictment as early as Tuesday. We'll tell you more about it and what he's calling on his supporters to do coming up in just a few minutes from right now. Chris.
Meteorologist Chris Nallen with you. We're talking about cold conditions coming in across northeastern Pennsylvania tonight. The winds will be whipping and even the chance for some snowflakes. But hey, spring is arriving Monday and we've got a warm up in store. I'll have all the details coming up.
The Kings of the Lanes late.
Forecast from the Fox 56 Weather Authority.
Hey, meteorologist Chris Nallen back with you tonight. We are talking about some cold winds coming in from the northwest and that westerly flow as well. It's not drying us out too fast. In fact, we've got that cold wind coming across the lakes and also with that some snow shower activity, some of which will make it periodically to our area, especially northern counties and also to the southern tier of New York. There will be some snowflakes flying. Scranton points south. I think we're just in the clouds, but it will be on the windy side. Now, the bigger vantage point does show you that aside from the chance for some snowflakes flying occasionally, we're very dry far to the west. It's a part of that cold dip in the jet stream. That dip in the jet stream going all the way south, that's keeping the storm track well into the southeast. So for us, for the time being, we're going to be staying dry as we head over, say, the next couple of days. However, it does warm up, and that's good news too. But let's talk about spring. It arrives Monday at 5:24 p.m. precisely. Set the clock, because at 5:24, when you hear it go off, it is officially spring. So get ready for that. And we have nice weather just in store in time for the new season. It should be like a holiday, right? All right, last winter weekend here. So it's going to be cold and blustery just to kind of wrap it up. And then we're going to start warming it up as we head into, say, Monday, Tuesday, and beyond before the next rain chance rolls back in. Another quick look at our satellite radar composite here. As mentioned, activity staying pretty far to our west right now in the sense of any kind of heavier snow patches, and just the winds, I think, are going to be the main thing here as we head out the door. Get ready for those winds whipping around Williamsport, Bloomsburg, Scranton. We're talking wind gusts here upwards of 25 to 35 miles per hour right into your Sunday morning. Towanda, take a look at those gusty winds. It's going to be a windy one. Again, if you're heading over to, say, overpasses or high, say, elevated roadways for that matter, both hands on the wheel, especially for those semi-trucks, because we are talking about gusty winds. Then the winds finally relax. Still a little bit blustery, but not as breezy as we head into Monday morning. So future forecast goes like this. We'll have clouds around during the overnight period. A lot of clouds during the day tomorrow, but then we clear it out here into the Monday morning wake up, and then mild weather with lots of sunshine will be the weather story as we head into the next couple of days. But until we hit that, we're talking about cold tonight. Scranton down to 23, areas or outside of town will be in the teens. Spring arrives Monday, and then the temperatures just rise. Chance for rain as we head into the later part of the week.
Anal glands are gross, but they are thought to play an important role in territory and communication between dogs and between cats. These sacs sit at roughly 4 and 8 o'clock just inside of the anus and will fill with a foul liquid that will occasionally express when your dog or cat poops. While there are a host of issues that can impact anal sacs, anal gland tumors are serious and should not be taken lightly. This is why, unfortunately, rectal exams are often a routine part of your pet's annual wellness exam, particularly in your dog. Clinical signs of anal gland tumors, as well as other anal gland issues, might include your pet scooting or dragging his bottom along the floor, as well as excessive licking of the perianal area. If you notice that your pet is exhibiting these clinical signs, schedule a checkup with your veterinarian so that they can assess your pet's anal glands. Connect with us at our station website by looking up For Pet Safe. We'd also love to see your favorite pet moments that you can share with our community. Go to our news app, click Explore, chime in, and upload your pet-tastic photos.
My friend was murdered. We don't know what happened.
Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Coming up this week on Full Measure, when 2 whistleblowers from the Marshal Service came forward with concerns about their workplace culture, it became part of a Senate investigation. But instead of having their concerns addressed, they say they were the ones who got punished and charged with misconduct. They'll tell their story. America's border crisis continues its record-breaking pace. There are big changes coming in strategies and tools used to handle illegal immigrants. We'll explain. And for hundreds of thousands of illegal border crossers, the trauma of their journey will remain with them the rest of their lives. We'll hear firsthand about the harrowing and sometimes deadly experience. That's this week on Full Measure.
And remember, you can watch Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson every Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on Fox 56.
Another member of the Biden family now tied up in Republicans' investigation into their international business deals. I'm Kayla Gaskins with that story from Washington.
No! Will Homer's favorite spot shut down?
The 10.
Well, it looked like the zombie apocalypse in one Luzerne County community today. That's because there was an open casting call in Nanticoke for a film that is going to be shot right there, which is being made by a local film company. It happened in the parking lot of the Nanticoke Fitness Center. We're told people of all ages were invited to sign up and audition. Now, it's all for a horror film titled Nanticoke, which is being made by Same World Productions. One of the film's producers, Michael Judkins, tells us he's excited to bring production to the area.
The town itself, with film industry, it's not really, Nanticoke is not really a big film industry town, but with this picture and saying we're bringing this production to it, we're opening up for new possibilities of more filming getting up in the Nanticoke area, and it supports the local arts as well.
Very exciting. Well, the film is set to be released in the fall of 2024. Now, for more on this story, all you have to do is head on over to our website, fox56.com.
Well, good evening to you, meteorologist Chris Nallen in, checking a look at that forecast. And right now we are looking at some pretty cold weather. In fact, clouds and some snow showers pressing through the upstate of New York into northeastern Pennsylvania tonight. So do watch out, especially areas to the north. We'll see some cold temperatures as well, but notice the big picture. It's rather dry to our west, and that will mean some good weather as we head into tomorrow, but it's still going to be on the chilly side. Taking a look at tonight's forecast, we're down into the teens and low 20s. Some snow showers to the north and clearing to the south. And guess what? Spring, not too far away. We'll talk more about that spring forecast in the week ahead coming up.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Thanks so much. Well, in a post made to his Truth social media page this morning, former President Trump says he expects to be indicted next week and calls on his supporters to protest. Now, in it, he says of himself, the quote, leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Now, in recent days, Trump's legal team has been preparing for how the former president would arrive in Manhattan to answer to possible charges. Some Trump advisors have privately urged him to not call for protests on his behalf, which they fear could bear a resemblance to the January 6th Capitol attack. The president's son, Hunter Biden, is now suing the owner of the laptop repair shop for invasion of privacy. The allegedly abandoned laptop given to authorities and the media contained embarrassing photos of Hunter Biden and evidence of questionable business deals, spurring from an investigation by House Republicans into the Bidens. Sinclair National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has more on this story from our nation's capital, where another member of the first family is now tangled up in a GOP probe.
The list of Biden family members profiting off deals with Chinese businesses continues to grow.
Part of being president is that you probably shouldn't be engaged in foreign business dealings or have members of your family profiting off of it, particularly with China.
Hallie Biden, the widow of Joe Biden's son, Beau, who later had a relationship with her brother-in-law Hunter Biden, received money from a deal with a Chinese company, according to financial records released Thursday by the House Oversight Committee. Biden family associate Rob Walker orchestrated the $3 million deal less than 2 months after Joe Biden left office as vice president in 2017. Walker then dispersed more than $1 million of the Chinese funds to companies associated with the president's son, Hunter, brother, James, daughter-in-law, Hallie, and another yet-to-be-identified Biden.
The concern about the flow of money is that there doesn't seem to be any discernible, legitimate service that was performed by the Biden family for this money.
In a statement released to numerous news organizations, Hunter Biden's lawyer says this money was for an investment and Hunter Biden, a private citizen with every right to pursue his own business endeavors, joined several business partners in seeking a joint venture with a privately owned, legitimate energy company in China. The Daily Caller reporting this Chinese company, State Energy HK Limited, is closely tied to the Communist Chinese government.
We don't find any evidence where they ever took the money and invested it in a company. People always talk about, well, Hunter Biden had legitimate business dealings with China. What were those business dealings?
On Friday, Committee Chair James Comer said they will subpoena the Biden family associate, Rob Walker, who conducted the 2017 deal with the Chinese energy company. They hope that Walker will be able to answer questions they've had for years, mainly if any of this money can be traced back to the president. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
4 planes were hijacked on 9/11, but were there more?
With John Lasko and your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Ed Russo.
Well, the CDC reports 141,000 people die from alcohol-related causes every year, making it one of the leading causes of death that is preventable. An innovative establishment wants to change the narrative about a night on the town by creating a nightclub and entertainment venue that's 100% free of alcohol. Here's Mark Hyman with tonight's Inside Your World Investigates report.
I reached a bottom. There was no question that my life was completely out of control and that I was going to lose my life if I didn't stop. And so that desperation was a gift.
Gwen Dudley woke up one morning in a drug and alcohol stupor. Her father had recently died of cancer. Her partner suffered a fatal overdose, and she'd been struggling for years to get sober. That very moment, she made the decision to reclaim her life.
The gift of desperation is being brought to your knees in pain and in addiction to the point of needing help.
At the age of 17, Chad Ritchie nearly lost his life.
What month is it?
Driving drunk, he caused a near-fatal car crash.
I was in shock trauma for about 3 weeks. That one incident didn't stop me from drinking. I just kept going, and it got worse.
So you had to recognize you were powerless
over this?
The war was over. It won, I lost. I know when I drank, I could not stop. And I tried to control it, and it controlled me.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, in 2021, 45,000 people died from motor vehicle accidents, 48,000 by firearms, 48,000 to suicide, and 81,000 from synthetic opioids. Opioid deaths have been declared a public health emergency. An even bigger killer is alcohol-related deaths with 141,000.
Booze is just the vehicle. It's often an underlying trauma.
People are usually trying to escape from one thing or another. I think a lot of people turn to alcohol because it is so mainstream, it's so public, it's so easily accessible. You can take a deep breath for me?
Victor Hilliard is a nurse practitioner at Avenues Recovery, an inpatient treatment center in Southern Maryland. He trained for this work after retiring from professional baseball. He told us those who believe alcoholism is a lifestyle choice or a moral failing are flat out wrong.
It is 100% a medical condition.
Like Gwen and Chad, 1 in 16 adults have an alcohol disorder. Another 600,000 who are suffering are younger than 17. For most, the road to sobriety is not easy.
Yes, and it was really...
Licensed therapist Brittany Ryan told us resolving the underlying trauma can be key to ending self-destructive behavior. And she believes establishing friendships in safe environments is a building block for recovery.
Fellowship is that sense of community, having that support. Addiction is an isolating disease.
She said getting sober alone is very difficult.
You don't want me to blaze a trail by myself. Who knows where I'll end up?
Gwen and Chad found that sense of community at Club 164, a vision of restaurateur Brock Anderson. If someone uses the term night clubbing, we tend to think nighttime, dark interior, lots of people, music, entertainment, a bar. Club 164 has all of that except
no alcohol. No alcohol. We built this club to just change the narrative.
A narrative that's delivering results.
The environment is just miraculously accelerating the rate at which people are getting sober.
Open early morning until late, Club 164 has food and beverage, a game room, flat panel TVs, free childcare, entertainment, a bookstore, and big events on those days that most tempt people to drink.
This coming in here is fun. The Super Bowl, we had hundreds of people here. We Thanksgiving dinner, my parents came here, my daughter came here. Christmas time, we have a big spread.
The club's impact on Chad, who's been sober for 27 years, is profound.
And I guess from a personal aspect, I've never been more happier in my life.
On one of our visits, we watched dozens of people file in and out of some of the nearly 6 12-step meetings held daily, each with a goal to remain clean and sober. Tell me about Club 164.
I have chills. It was the new experience that I needed to be successful in sobriety.
How does Brock, who's been sober for 3 decades, measure this nonprofit club's success just 18 months after opening?
We have 20 people celebrating their first year of sobriety in the 2 months of February and March. I can tell you that is unheard of. That is staggering.
Brock told us he's only just starting. He'd like to see venues nationwide, and he hopes that one day clubs like this will
change the narrative on sobriety, make sobriety fun.
Fun and part of every community.
It's very special here.
For Inside Your World Investigates, I'm Mark Hyman in Annapolis, Maryland.
Well, if you or someone you know has problems with drugs or alcohol, you can contact the National Drug and Alcohol Helpline at 1-800-662-4357 for information on treatment programs that are available right here in Northeast PA. We're told that phone number is staffed 24/7. We'll be right back.
Don't miss host Lenny Kravitz plus Taylor Swift, Pink.
Your forecast from the Fox 56 Weather Authority.
Good evening. Once again, meteorologist Chris Allen, and tonight we are talking about spring. I want to warm your heart and mind a little bit. Spring arrives Monday precisely at 5:24 p.m. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to set my alarm for that time just so it reminds me it's officially spring. I like to do that. It's fun. It's Tell the kids to do it. They'll love it too. Put the sunglasses on and just celebrate, hey, it's officially spring. And it also brings with it some milder temperatures. That's the good news. And the weather headlines go like this. The last weekend of winter. It's happening right now. Yes, blustery conditions to wrap up winter and then warming up as we head into the new week and also the new season. So that is something to look forward to. All right, let's take a look at the satellite radar composite here. We have some snow showers across the upstate of New York and Pennsylvania. Most of those snow showers, though, have begun to fizzle out as they head more towards the east, but can't rule out some quick bursts of snow, especially northern parts of the area into, say, upstate of New York into the night. Otherwise, it will be cloudy and blustery. But we have a dip in the jet stream, and that's allowing that much colder air to kind of sink south, even as far south into the southeast here. The winds, though, continue to whip. That's going to be our concern here. That would be the main weather element as we head into the overnight period. We have those winds that will be gusting up to 25, 35 miles per hour, and then even right into tomorrow morning, we're still seeing wind gusts upwards of 31 miles per hour there about 10 o'clock in Hazleton. So just giving you an idea that the winds still mean business and gradually relax as we head into, say, Sunday night, but it doesn't really take into effect until Monday. We're not as windy, but still breezy, but we'll take anything less than where we are right now, right? Now, it's a colder wind, exposed skin, it just doesn't feel good. So bundle up for sure. As we see it, future forecast, those clouds will kind of linger into tomorrow a bit, so more clouds than sun, and snow shower activity staying to our north, but then it clears as we head into the latter part of Sunday, early hours Monday morning, and then guess what? Winds turn more southerly, and we're going to see some mild skies and some big smiles, I hope, as we see some better weather heading our way. All right, temperatures tonight, though, down into the Scranton area, 23, but surrounding locations will be in the teens. It's going to be cold, so let's take a look at we head forward. Let's warm it up a little bit. Spring arrives, there it is, and it warms up just in time for Monday. Mid-50s Tuesday, clouds increase Wednesday, but look at the mild temperatures, even with the chance of rain during the end of the week.
Looking forward to that 60-degree temperature on Thursday. All right, Chris, thanks so much. Well, more and more young people are choosing not to attend a four-year college or university. We'll tell you why. That story next at 10 o'clock.
The Fox 56 News First at 10 is sponsored by Toyota.
Fox 56 News First at 10.
A recent study by Georgetown University's Center on Education and the Workforce found undergraduate college enrollment dropped by 8% nationwide from 2019 through 2022. And it appears the pandemic played a role in that decision making. Some young people say a year of remote schoolwork gave them the time and confidence to find other ways to build a future. Others say the cost of higher education is a big issue for them, along with not taking on a mountain of student debt. And others say they've turned to hourly jobs into livelihoods or pursued careers that do not require a college degree. The FCC is cracking down on spam texts with a new rule for telecom companies. It requires phone providers to block text messages from suspicious sources. That includes phone numbers that appear to be invalid, unallocated, or unused. Carriers will also have to block texts coming from numbers that claim to never send text messages or that the government has identified as numbers not used for texting. The move mirrors a similar effort to shut down illegal robocalls here in the U.S., which has led to at least one phone provider being cut off entirely from the U.S. telephone network. Meta has begun testing a paid verification option for Facebook and Instagram users in the U.S. The system gives users a blue check on their account confirming their identity has been verified. What's known as Meta Verified starts at $11.99 a month on the web and $3 more for the mobile option. The option offers extras such as enhanced protection against impersonation accounts and direct access to customer support. Users need to be at least 18 years old to be eligible. Well, it's been a windy day, and for some of us, we even saw some snow today. So when will the wind subside, and is there a warm-up on the way just in time for the first day of spring on Monday? Chris is in next to let us know when he takes a final look at your forecast. That's coming up next after the break. Stay with us.
Rashawn's missing.
Run!
We are looking at clouds around tomorrow. The winds are still whipping too, so just a gusty day and temperatures only in the upper 30s to maybe near 40 and to the maybe areas to the south around Hazleton, but it's going to be chilly. And then heading into Monday, we'll see a lot of sun for the first day of spring. Spring arrives officially Monday, 5:24 p.m. our time, in the 50s to hold tight. Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday we see increasing clouds, chance for some showers Wednesday night. Then we see a shower or two Thursday, but it's all part of a warmer bubble of air coming in. It looks to be more steadier showers Friday into early parts of Saturday.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. And that's going to do it for this Saturday night edition of Fox 56 News First at 10. Remember, for the most up-to-the-minute local, state, and national news, along with local weather forecasts and sports, all you have to do is log on to our website, fox56.com. Also, download the Fox 56 News mobile app. And until Ed and I see all of you again tomorrow, right here, same time, same place, same channel, stay safe and have a great night, everyone.